By far, one of the most common struggles with people with ADHD is organization, whether it be with ministry, whether it be with business, your family life, school, whatever the thing is. Being organized with ADHD is extremely difficult. But there is a 3-step strategy that I teach and I use myself in order to stay organized. And I'm going to teach it to you in this video. And if you're new here, what's up? My name's Christian. I make content about mental health, all from a biblical perspective, so that we can all heal, grow, and make an impact on the world as Christ intended. All right, so this video is going to be hella simple, really simple and straightforward. And the reason I wanted to be so simple and straightforward is because with ADHD, we have a lot of stuff going on in here already, right? I think we can all agree there'll be thoughts or ideas, things like that. We have a lot going on here already. So we're going to make it right into really 3 simple steps. I'm someone who coaches Christians who have ADHD, and this is by far one of the most common things I coach them with, being organized, things like that. I've coached people in ministry, business owners, entrepreneurs, creative directors, parents, right? So this, whatever the thing is, people in school, whatever the thing is, this is going to help you. It's going to help you, right? So the first thing is you're going to want to know what you even want to get done. What do you even want to get done? This is the part where me and my clients spend the most time talking about. And the reason we spend the most time talking about in this section is because with ADHD, one reason is because with ADHD, we have an all or nothing mindset where we think, okay, there's just 20 things that I would like to get done. I'm going to get these 20 things done or get nothing done, right? We have this black or white kind of mindset, all or nothing kind of mindset. And being mindful of what you actually want to get done is actually going to help you to break that mindset, because that mindset is the reason probably why you're burnt out, exhausted, tired, where you can have, a week of, really getting things done and then 2 weeks of just crashing and barely able to, do laundry. And you need clarity in order to be productive. Right. This is why we have to make sure that we're aware of what we actually want to get done. And this is something that's even backed by scripture. In Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2, it says, "And the Lord answered me, write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it." Right. Obviously, I know that there's context to consider here in regards to it being a prophecy, right? But a principle that we can pull out of this verse is that clarity produces action, right? Notice how in the verse it says, write the vision, right? Make it plain on tablets, right? Nothing confusing. Make it plain, so he may run who reads it, right? So the fact that it is written down and it's plain brings about the action, so that person can run who reads it, right? Same kind of thing when it applies to our routines or our to-do lists or things we want to get done. Write down exactly what you plan on getting done. And another benefit of doing this is something I've actually done with a client before, is that when you actually write that down, it helps you to realize how much you're actually taking on. And then from there, you can remove things, add things, whatever. Because in our head, maybe 5 different things to do and versus 20 different things to do may not seem that different. But when you write those things down, okay, I have to do laundry, I have to pick up my kids, I have to write this sermon, I have to record this video, I have to, right? If you were writing all these different things down, then you have actually time to process what you're actually planning on getting done. More likely than not, you have more written down than you are actually able to complete in a day. This is where I really like to say, okay, just pick 3 things. Because with ADHD, we struggle with prioritization, right? Struggle with knowing what things I need to pick. If you can only pick 3 things, what are those things going to be? Thinking about it from that perspective really helps you to not overwhelm yourself. Just pick those 3 things. And if you're struggling picking those 3 things, consider time. Which ones are time sensitive? Is there something that's due in like a few hours? Is something that's due in a month, right? Is it something that other people are depending on you for, right? If you have to write a sermon, if you have to do some ministry work, that's something people are depending on you on. So maybe that will need to take precedent over some other things that you have to get done. Okay. So then after that, you're going to want to plug in when you're going to do those things realistically, right? It's a realistic plug-in. And the reason I emphasize the realistic aspect is because with ADHD comes time blindness. In time blindness, we have trouble with perceiving time, with understanding our space, our place in time, how time passes, right? We tend to underestimate how long something will take, right? So this is a really good strategy that I like to use in order to overcome this, is to look at the task you want to get done and to kind of walk through it in the spirit, if that makes sense. So say if it's me recording this video, right? I'm like, okay, I can record a video in 10 minutes. Well, is it going to actually take 10 minutes? Okay, I think about me setting up lights. I think about me, prepping the actual video. I think about me getting everything situated. I think, me actually going through each step of what it takes for me to record a video. And I'm like, no, that's not going to take 10 minutes. That's going to take maybe like 25, 30 minutes, right? And by me doing that, I'm actually practicing mindfulness and training my brain to be more aware of how long a task takes, right? So the first benefit is that you're training your mind to be more aware of time. So, and this is a skill that you can apply in other areas of your life. But the second benefit is that it actually allows you to understand how long a task will take, so that you can plug it in properly. So, for example, I'm not, if you're someone who needs to, go to the gym. Maybe going to the gym before you have to drop off your kids to work is not the best idea if you're at the gym typically for an hour, and it's gonna be a conflict of you actually getting home in time to take your kids to school, right? So same kind of principle there. Plug it. Think about the task that's at hand, and think about, okay, how long this task gonna take from beginning to end, right? And when I say beginning, like you getting ready for that task. So like say if it's a gym, you getting dressed and ready for the gym, you driving to the gym, you're at the gym, you coming home, you can showering, you can, like, all of that is included in that task. And we have to include all those different parts and be mindful of that when we're plugging in a task into our day. And it's better to overestimate than to overestimate. So for example, if I know a task will probably take me 45 minutes, I will put maybe an hour on the clock for me getting that task done, right? And if I finish early, I can move on to the next thing. But I'd rather have a schedule with some more flexibility and some more space in between tasks, rather than trying to shove everything in and then being burnt out, tired, exhausted, and frustrated if I'm behind on when I wanted to get that task done. And this last part is probably one of the most important parts. I probably said that about the first thing, but this is the most critical parts if you actually want to succeed in being productive. You actually want to succeed in being more organized. Understand that failure is feedback. I cannot stress that enough. This is something I stress so much with my clients. Failure is feedback. The reason you want to understand that failure is feedback is because realistically, the first routine or whatever your attempt at organization that you try is probably not going to work out in the way that you thought it would. There's going to be unexpected things that show up. There's going to be things that you forgot, like, oh yeah, I forgot I need to, I'm supposed to write this sermon every other week, or I forgot about this ministry I go to, or I forgot how long, how draining it is after I leave from work, right? Small different things like that, right? Because there needs to be time from you actually creating a routine, implementing it, and then you making adjustments. That adjustment part is where you really need to focus in on, because a lot of times with ADHD, and honestly in general, we'll create something, we'll implement it, and then it doesn't go the way we planned, and then we just say, oh well, I give up, right? I just can't do this. No, you can do it. You just need to make the correct adjustments in order to see success. So for example, if you notice that after you leave from work, you try to study, and you notice like every time you try to study that you don't get as much done as you would like to, then maybe you need to make some adjustments. Maybe you need to study a different time. Maybe you need to change your expectations with how much you can actually study, right? Things like that, where you take note of what worked, what didn't work, and then you create something new based on that. And it's usually a really small adjustment. It doesn't require you tearing down your entire routine, but it's just small adjustments here and there, so until you create something that actually works. And when you understand that your failure is feedback, then you'll be able to be that much more resilient when pushback comes, when those unexpected things come, right? When that distraction comes. So, as a really quick recap, remember, write down what you even want to get done in the first place. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2 is the verse that you really want to meditate on with that. Then you're going to think about where you want to place it practically. And the last step is to remember that failure is feedback. Okay? Really simple process. Implement it. Let me know down below in the comments where exactly you are struggling with staying organized. I'll meet you down there give you some tips, things like that. And if you are interested in knowing how well you are currently managing your ADHD and get a plan in order to help you in that area, I want to encourage you to take the ADHD Reset quiz. You can find that linked down below in the description. Be sure to give this video a like if it was a blessing to you, and subscribe for more content like this. And remember, above all that, you got this because God's got you. Peace out.